Hi, it is September 26th, 2022. Um, so, the biggest problem that exists in our society, I am completely convinced of this, is a lack of empathy. And when I say empathy, what I'm talking about is when you are engaging in an interaction, you are doing so with the intent to understand the other person in the interaction. It's that simple. Now, I didn't used to do this. I used to engage in interactions where I was trying to prove that what I knew was correct. And I realized in late 2017, with this intuitive leap, this massive eureka kind of moment, that I had been approaching discourse in the entirely wrong way. Because I already know what I already know. So it doesn't do me any good to teach someone else what I already know, unless they're like going to be working for me or something. But in general, I mean, yeah, it would be good if everyone understood economics, etc., but it's not going to do me, if I convince one other person that economics is a real thing and that freedom is the real way to go, it's not going to do me any good because already a bunch of libertarians that believe that. Now there'll just be one more. And there'll still be a bunch of people who just adamantly are opposed and just adamantly disagree and just... So I did this. I spent a long time engaging in many, many interactions, first on Facebook, later on Twitter. I'm talking about tens of thousands of interactions. I'm talking about, I probably wrote several books worth of material in the discourses and probably read that much in the discourse I had. This was no little thing. And this is what shaped my book. This is what gave me the insight to create my book and to, come up with a way that we could escape the darkness that exists on this planet. And, unfortunately, the stupid thing about this is that just because I realize what a profound thing this is that I realized, it doesn't actually give me the ability to give anyone else that knowledge. See, everyone else is still trying to be heard, is trying to express themselves, and is entirely disinterested in what I have to say, or anyone else they're talking to, what they have to say. And so, there's a real madness in the world right now, and there's just so much division, and it's all about government. It's all about, we want to control you, who's going to get to control the other? And it's like no one has the willingness to just sit there and say, you know what? You don't control me, I don't control you. Let's just live our fucking lives the way we want to live them. And, there's levels to this, man. It ain't just as simple as this is economically beneficial. This is compassionate, man. It's everything. But no one seems to understand, and people just continue to try to control each other and to try to control things that they simply have no control over. See, ultimately what's happening here is a spiritual evolution. What's ultimately happening is people are going to be faced with their own powerlessness. And they have been doing everything that they possibly can to try to deny or escape or ignore the fact of their own powerlessness. They are powerless to achieve their own desires. What their actual heart would desire, they have no power to achieve it because of government, because of fear, because they don't understand the benefits from gaining information, and they're just trying to control other people. This is all spiritual stuff, man. These are all, I've been on a spiritual program for a lot longer than I've been on this intellectual discourse program. I've been on the spiritual journey. Well, really, I think the spiritual journey is your whole life, but it became a major part of my life 15 years ago. And, spiritual prowess is something that isn't gained in a day or in a week or in a month. It's something that is gained through service to God over a long period of time. And, I've spent a lot of times sitting very patiently because God's put me in a place where that's what He's asked of me. And this spiritual journey is really intertwined with the whole intellectual journey of we need government, or we need government to cease and desist. Because the solution to all these problems is freedom. And they don't see that as a solution. They are very much stuck in their addictions. And that's really what this is. They're addicted to trying to get social approval. They're addicted, a lot of them are addicted to substances, marijuana. I've obviously struggled with this one, and right now I'm not on it. Right now I'm free. But it's something I've used to dull the suffering of simply existing in this world. Because everything that everybody does is not in alignment with true human nature, true human emotions, true human desires. And as long as all of this is being denied, we're going to suffer. Because, suffering is a physical thing. Suffering is something you feel in your body. Even when you're suffering emotionally, it's still a physical feeling of pain. And it's something, I've suffered. I mean, I shed a few tears today, nothing major. I probably shed tears almost every single day. Sometimes it's worse than others. And I do it because they arise and because I don't stop them. I don't prevent them. I don't deny them. I don't say, you emotions, go away. You're inconvenient. I accept them for what they are. I listen to them. And even though the world outside of me is very much not aligned with what my emotions are crying and are telling me needs to happen, I still acknowledge my emotions. Because by doing that, when you shed those tears, you gain emotional strength. You find the power to get through what you got to get through. And, people are going to have to get through a lot, man. Because everything these people have depended on is going to go away. You know, their bond portfolio is going to go to zero. Their real estate's going to collapse. Their stocks are going to collapse. Their job's going to fire them. Their government's going to go bankrupt and tell them that they can't pay them these amounts they've promised to pay them. And they're going to be left in a world of fucking hurt, man. We are entering a Great Depression. How big will the depression be entirely depends on how long it takes us to get freedom. That's the only factor that's relevant to how long this depression will last. So, you know, I'm a real blessed guy because I have opportunities available to me. I have preparations I've made for what's to come, because I've accepted the emotional reality of everything that's gonna be lost. I've already shed tears. I've already lost a lot, you know. A lot of what causes people to suffer is when people they care about leave their lives, whether it's through death or through cruelty. And it is cruelty, you know. I, in my entire life, have not a single time found it necessary to cut off a single person I've ever cared about. And if I don't find that necessary, I really don't see why anyone would. I think the only, you know, I have this relationship, this, what I call an emotional affair with this woman 4 years ago. Well, she cut me off, and to me, that was an act of cruelty. That was something that was done, and it was inspired by cruelty. She wanted me to suffer because I had upset her, because I had questioned her values and her behavior, and I guess I got her upset. And she decided I'm going to react with cruelty, and I'm going to do what I can to hurt you as much as I can. And that's what she did. And she was successful in her bid. Like I said, you know, I've suffered on a daily basis for fucking years. But even though that's true, you know, I've gained the strength. Anyway, sorry. We suffer because other people leave us. That was the main point. And I've already had those people leave me. So she already left me. Other people who I've given pieces of my heart to have done the same. Friends, you know, one or two have stuck around, but for the most part, you know, they're gone, man. And, you know, all the people I used to work with, they're fucking gone, man. My old friend Melissa, she's fucking gone, man. You know, I had other friends, they're gone too, man. And I've already suffered, man. All those losses, all that, you know, I shouldn't, like, it's not like necessarily that my healing is complete, because, I mean, I can shed tears over some of these people even today, but I'm way further along the journey than had I done what most people do, which is pander and toe the line and not say things that are going to make people uncomfortable or going to call people out or question them. And because of that, they have a bunch of these fake relationships. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, but there's no real compassion underneath. There's no real love. it's just an act. It's just, I will treat you well as long as you treat me well, and this is what that means. It means you don't bring up these topics, you don't engage in this behavior. It's a very controlling, it's a very, it's a transaction. It's a transaction is what it is. And transactions on their own, they are okay. It's okay to have transactions, but what it's not okay to do is to use transactions to fill an emotional void that can only be filled through true connection. And you don't have true connection when you decide that certain topics, that certain behaviors are off limits, certain desires cannot be expressed, certain feelings cannot be expressed. Once you have all that, you don't have connection. You just have an act. And that's what most people have. So most people, when this whole system collapses and they've lost their finances and all this other shit, they're also going to be dealing with the fact that these people that used to be their friends, they thought, well, you're not doing for them what you used to be able to do for them. Because the transaction, you're no longer able to hold your end of the bargain, dude. You're no longer able, like, for example, maybe like two people were socialists, right? And they were both living off the government. And they're like, this is the way to be. You're not supposed to work. You're not supposed to support the capitalist system. This is how it's got to be. We're doing the right thing. And they would validate each other and tell each other, this is the right way to be. Fuck the capitalists. We're never going to listen to them, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of a sudden, government can't pay that check. Now they're faced between, I got to get a job or I'm going to starve to death. At this point, they have to take the job. And now their socialist friend is like, you know, maybe they've still got some savings to live off. Maybe they still got some family to live off, whatever. Who knows what the situation exactly is. But they're not forced in that same situation yet. And all of a sudden they're like, well, look at you. You're a capitalist pig. You're working for a living. I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. And now this person's not only lost the free ride that the government was giving him, now they've lost his social connection to. And that's just like one example. Like there's a thousand ways this can fucking play out. Romantic relationships. Don't even fucking get me fucking started on these. You know, I certainly lack that in my life, but I lack a lot of things in my life, and I lack money. You know, I would like more money than what I have, and I would like to do things that earn me money, and such as, I think if I can market and make a better version of my book and sell it, I might be able to make money that way, as one example. And so I want to focus my energy there, because ultimately I want to be free to enjoy that person, whoever that person is, when they arrive, you know. And when I talk about that person, you know, this whole monogamy versus polyamory deal, for me, I don't know the answer as far as what that's going to look like. But what I do know is that whoever the person is, the one who appears, who becomes my love, that's a communication that we're going to need to have. But I'm not going to enter that relationship unless that's a person who I would be happy to just be with. And the truth is, I'm very confident that I could be very happy with just one other person. Now, I am attracted to other people. I think other people, we could have fun, but I don't want to have fun at the expense of breaking someone else's heart. And so I'm not looking for that. And I know that, you know, for women, it is a big thing to connect with someone in that way, at least for some women. And I want to honor that, and I want to be kind, and I want to listen to her. And, what I talk about when I talk about empathy, well, you apply that to a romantic relationship, and all of a sudden you discover that I'm the fucking guy you want to be in a relationship with, because I'm the guy who's actually going to listen, who's actually not going to tell you that you're flawed because of the emotions, the feelings, the experiences that you've had. Um, I will accept, I will forgive, and I will be happy that I have a person that I can connect with. And, I think about different people in my life who that might be, but chances, it's funny, because sometimes it's like, well, it'd probably most likely be someone I've never met, right? This will be someone new that I meet. But at the same time, when you've known someone a while, it's like, especially if you're attracted to them and you haven't been in a relationship, it's like, man, you've had all this time to like allow this desire to like grow, and like this fantasy to like build, and like it kind of creates this incredible potential that I don't think is necessarily there when you first meet someone. Now, maybe the solution is when you meet someone, you should date for a while before you turn it physical. But I'm also I think we're going to want to probably turn it physical pretty soon, whoever this person is, just based on how I am and how my interactions tend to go with people. So, we'll see, man. It's one. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of things to concern myself with, and while that is something I really want, it's not my highest priority at the current time. But neither is the world and the economic stuff, because, like, if I could find, a partner, I feel like I would love to just, like, be with them and just not worry about any of that bullshit going on in the world, not worry about any of these fucking people. What makes this really tough right now is that I don't have a great outlet to focus my energy. And so it's like I'm forced to look at the world. I'm forced to be like I'm bored. Like, I'll go on fucking Twitter. Let me see what these assholes are fucking saying. Let me engage. But it's like, it doesn't feel productive to me in a great sense. And it certainly doesn't feel very enjoyable. So it's something I would definitely be happy to leave behind. And I just make it a part of my life because it's like, I just have that void in my life. I got the coming weekend to myself, no kids. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Probably just going to stay in town this weekend. Nothing really going on out of town that intrigues me. And I do kind of want to just take care of some stuff here in town. But, I think getting off the weed, for me, I don't see this necessarily as a forever thing, because I don't think it's a tremendously harmful thing. But for me, where I am in my life right now and where the world is, I just really feel like I want to maximize my productivity, because I want to get to the other side. I want to get to the side where I have the financial freedom that I desire, where I can really enjoy someone with a lot of this business side of things behind me. So that's my primary motive. Um, there's a lot of tangential benefits. Uh, I save a little money not buying it. I probably play poker a little better. I'll probably be just like generally more effective in a lot of little areas. Um, and I feel like shit right now. I mean, I feel like crap. I don't feel good. But the truth is, I didn't really feel good when I was getting high either. Um, I was, if I did enough, maybe I did enough that I could just sit in the pool and like not worry about much. But what kind of a life really is that, man? You know, it's it's not a life I want to live on my own, man. Again, if I had a partner, maybe we could have a great time just hanging out and just doing us. But I don't. And right now, it's this world is real tough, man. These people are really stuck in this need for social approval. A lot of people have financial problems. A lot of people got a lot of baggage, drugs, uh, different areas of discontent, different relationships that are causing them problems. People got a lot of baggage, and I'm not looking at a lot of baggage. I like the positive aspects, but I want to enjoy the relationship. I'm not looking for someone who's gonna, uh, like, you become business partners, right? I mean, you become friends. All of that happens. But I'm not looking for someone to manage my life. I'm not looking for someone who needs me to manage theirs. I'm looking for someone who, first of all, understands freedom. I mean, that right there cuts out like 90% of the fucking field, right? Then they gotta be okay that, like, I'm a little overweight. There's a lot of different things like that that could potentially be a deal breaker. And it's just tough, man. It'd be tough to find a match, I think. I mean, I haven't been on a dating website in probably a year, but when I've gone on there, I haven't been real impressed with what I've seen. And I'm sure there's diamonds in the rough, but and then of course the ones that are diamonds in the rough, most of them are already taken. So then it's really a very small percentage of the population that's really eligible here. But I like, again, once I have once I have this shit and I free up a bit my schedule, I can be more social. I mean, I am doing some things to be social. There's a group I'm thinking about going to tonight at 8. I might go there or I might not. There's a Baha'i group on Thursday that I'm planning to go to. They've actually went to a couple of their online things. They actually have some pretty good talks. They have some pretty good readings and stuff that legitimately is like rational, which is really hard to find. I mean, there's not a lot of reason being used by people these days, man, on either side of this. I mean, this mass psychosis. There's a lot of different beliefs people have that are faulty, and I think there's different variants of psychosis that have formed based on these various false beliefs. And one false belief, to justify that false belief, another false belief can arise. This is what happened to me when I had my mental health episode, because I believed that this woman was going to be with me. And it was like everything else in the universe changed to make that true, to the point that we were actually living in fucking heaven. But then you know what happened. So I believed, I'm walking down the street, I believed we lived in heaven, that we'd actually brought heaven about to planet Earth, because I believed, and I still believe, that if she was with me, that would actually create heaven on earth. Because I think the joy that people would see, it would just completely change people's motives. I wrote a poem about this. They would no longer seek, money the way they do, but they would seek love, and they would want to know, how can I gain this kind of love? And it would just become the focus that people would have, and it would just, the whole world would change. And people would also start listening to, see, this isn't just this person in particular, but I also think, like, whenever whoever the person is, arrives, I do think that will actually change things in the world, regardless of who it is, because I have this path, this understanding, this knowledge. A lot of people think I'm crazy. A lot of people tell themselves, people who don't know me, they say I'm stupid. But people who know me to any degree know that I'm not stupid. In fact, my IQ is at least 3 standard deviations above the mean. And I'm like probably in the top 1% on IQ. So I'm not stupid, but they think I'm crazy. And that may be like my mind's broken. Never mind the fact that I've held an accounting job for 4 fucking years, where I've been rationally able to prepare tax returns and hold a job. And, never mind the fact that I'm, man. But people think I'm crazy. But if a woman decided she wanted to be with me, and she was super happy, and I was super happy, well, then obviously people would know that I wasn't fucking crazy, because if you're crazy, no one's going to be able to connect with you in that way, right? They'd have to be crazy too, and they know they're not crazy. You two people aren't going to have the exact same kind of crazy, where they believe all the exact same bullshit. So it would give me like the social validation, the social proof, I think, is what I've watched a lot of shit about human behavior, about romantic relationships and all this. And one of the things some of these, what do they call them, fucking, these